I am at a road cut that might have garnets. Apparently it's a bit picked over, but you can maybe still find some stuff. There's also maybe diopside, but I'll let you guys know if I find anything interesting. Nothing super spectacular right away, but I found a couple little garnets. It's a little cluster of kind of weathered garnets, and then this is a more larger Gemmy one. That's a smaller one. And then I found a couple pieces with like calcite. Any piece of bit of rock that I see that has calcite, and then like the orange garnet and the green diopside, I'm gonna just take home because beggars can't be choosers, and hopefully once they're put in acid, they'll expose some nice fresh crystals. But I'm just gonna sift through this area since I'm finding some stuff, and go from there. So here's that garnet that I was talking about, and the green I believe is the diopside. You can see it's in these calcite veins, and then on the edges there's the garnet and the diopside. So hopefully I can find a free floating piece that I can take back, and then what I can do is melt out the calcite to expose the garnet, and then hopefully it looks real nice. I've seen some examples and they can be quite spectacular, so I just gotta look around. Apparently there's a good spot, a good digging spot, so I might go and check that out. But I was just curious, so I wanted to check out the bottom area too before I check out that digging spot, because who knows, maybe there's a loose piece that people haven't seen, and then I can just take that loose piece back with me and melt out the garnet. I have just been digging around these rocks, and I've pulled up a bunch of like calcite pieces with like garnet stuff and like diopside with calcite on it. So hopefully some of these will look good once they're cleaned up and treated with acid. I am getting rained out. I tried to go to the top, to the digging area, but it's been fenced in and there's a no trespassing sign, so I didn't want to chance it. But just as I was leaving, I noticed this in the bushes, and you can see there's a bunch of garnet and there's a bunch of diopside, and then there's a lump of calcite, so I'm hoping that'll go good. And these were the other things I just spent my time digging along the road cut. There was a bunch of different spots that were how do you say it? There's a lot of dirt and stuff had eroded down into the dirt piles. So I found a bunch of stuff. Actually, I want to show you one piece. Give me a second. I try and find it. Check this out. It's a nice singular garnet. It's a bit dirty right now, but it's one whole garnet with a couple small ones on the side, which was pretty exciting when I pulled that out. This is, if I only found this, it would have made the trip still worth it, so I'm quite happy. I found a couple pieces that I think will be half decent, so I'm more than happy to get out of here. I mean, the weather is forcing me anyways, so I'll get these cleaned up and show you guys. I have some stuff here that I want to melt using acid. Well, I want to clean the calcite off. One comes from a road cut north of Peterborough, and then there's also some stuff from Dino Road. So we're just gonna see what they look like once they're cleaned up using some diluted hydrochloric acid, and we'll just get to see what there is. Here is what I have to show you guys after my first round of doing some acid baths. A lot of the stuff I already knew kind of wasn't going to be great. Most of the stuff actually just kind of like wasn't great at all, but it was still worth trying to see if there were any really nice garnets in there. A couple of these finds here, like this one, I found just as is. It's just a really tiny sliver of like garnet crystals. Bit weather worn, but altogether still very nice. Make a nice small thumbnail specimen. Same with this guy. This was just a loose singular garnet crystal that I found kind of just poking around the crevices of the road cut. This was a larger garnet that I found poking around in the crevices of the road cut when I was just checking the bottom out. There were a couple crevices that it seemed to had been washed by the recent storms, and there was a bunch of probably fresher material that nobody had looked at before. I just got to. And this was the largest singular garnet. Well, not singular. You can see there's some smaller ones perched on here. But this was the largest kind of singular-ish garnet I found there. Now, the other four, these were all, they actually just finished their acid treatment today. I had them in a hydrochloric bath to clean them out a bit. I probably have to throw them quickly just in an ultrasonic cleaner just to get rid of some of the residue, because some of these have some residue on them. Oh, this one too, technically, also that came out of the bath. Most of the stuff kind of was like super just fine garnets like this, and it didn't make for good specimens because they're like very fragile specimens, but some of them, like this one, are a bit more on the solid side, and so you get just this mass of small fine garnets. Then you'll also get like your diopsides. This was one of the better diopside pieces. Here's a large diopside crystal that is terminated on the one end and then it's broken on this end. But you can see there's also some small garnets in the mix there. This one, you can kind of see actually that white kind of powdery stuff is the leftovers from the acid treatment. Sometimes I find that happens with calcite, is it leaves like this powdery residue. But you can see similarly some small diopsides and garnets. This one, it gets a bit bigger. You can see on the back end, a lot of this matrix was like this really fine diopside mixed in with like calcite, so it's like incredibly crumbly. But then there's like the more solid matrix. This is actually, there's still some calcite on this one. I might do another bath, but I kind of like the look of this one. I think it would, doing more would kind of risk the integrity of some of the larger like diopsides and garnets in this mix. You get a smaller pocket in here with just a bunch of garnets and stuff. But you can see this is, I think this was one of the, this might be the one I actually chiseled out of the side of the road cut. There was a little section where somebody had drilled holes and I used some feather and wedges to wedge off a large piece, and there was just like an extra like ledge sticking out that they hadn't taken. So I went to town on that ledge and I got a chunk off, and I believe this is what this is from. But you can see that it's just this large kind of mix of like dark green diopsides and then really nice orangey garnets. Now, the star of the show, I was not expecting this piece to do anything. It was just like this green stuff, and then there was just a layer of calcite, and there's just like a hint of some smaller garnets on the side. But once all the calcite melted away, it exposed this nice large kind of cluster of multiple garnets, and like really nice lustrous unweathered garnets, which I am very pleased with. This makes the trip, this single piece makes the trip worth it. Like, this is a really nice piece for that place. That place is, I'm sure I mentioned it in the video while I was there, is pretty picked over, but I thought I would still try it, and thankfully I got lucky and picked up one of the pieces that had some really nice hidden gems, pardon the pun, in the calcite still, and it turned out really well. I'm quite happy with this piece. And the matrix, it's slightly crumbly. You can see some of the dust, but it's still pretty solid. I might put a bit of glue on the back just to stabilize the matrix, just to make sure that this piece doesn't fall apart on me. I'll probably do that, but this is a wonderful garnet specimen. I am quite happy with this find. We have gotten to the end of this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite find was. Also, if you haven't already, do like and subscribe if you haven't. That really helps out my channel. I do a lot of rockhounding related videos and some additional like arrowhead hunting related stuff. So if those are your cups of tea, please do consider liking and subscribing. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I want to wish you guys a good day.